Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to FACEIT's Challenger Invitationals with yours truly, Vince Metuz Hill and James Stress O'Leary. We're sponsored by Overwolf, and we are going to be jumping into the second game and the second Champion Select between SK Gaming Prime and Faculty.
And so far in Champion Select, the same bans out as the previous game. Same 4 mid lane bans. So we had this followed up by, I believe it was Vi and Elise.
Yes, it was.
I think.
That's exactly
if I'm remembering
what it was.
back. Nailed it.
You did nail it. Absolutely. But we'll have to see next 6 seconds how that's one's going to turn out.
That was a close
nice.
one.
That
Ooh.
was close. Gragas is going to be bad.
5 mid lane bans. Okay, so Elise or Vi is getting through in this game. N Faculty will likely pick one up. I think they're better off banning Vi picking Elise just because of Ku's Lee Sin. That this is theory quite. Oh, how are they going to ban Elise? Okay, so if they pick Vi here, Lee Sin's going to do pretty well against Vi in the early game, and we already saw how Ku did on Lee Sin in the early game here. So, yeah, in fact, that's the right call by SK. Sorry, I got this completely messed up there. SK banning the right one.
Right.
Because they're banning out the one that's going to give Lee Sin more of the problem if it's available.
Right, okay. Well, Vi is open, as you said.
Yeah.
Still has yet to be even hovered over, so they're thinking about this one long and hard. Please, Prawn Bear. A different character than Renekton this time. I'm begging.
So, options for their first pick. We're looking at Vi. They could look at taking away Lee Sin. There's a couple of different options. We've seen first picks up in the top lane as well. It's a little bit of a... Ooh. Okay, so 5 mid lane bans. They're going to take the consistent one for themselves.
That's an interesting pick for me. I don't want to say that Siggy played bad last game, but he missed 2 or 3 shockwaves, and he didn't have a great deal of presence in mid. That could be due to the fact that he feels that Gragas is just too strong to play against, and now he feels comfortable picking that champion as they banned Gragas out, but that leaves Vi open.
It does.
It would be interesting if he actually locks this in, because we said before, normally you'd expect Lee Sin.
I think with Vi open, Vi is actually a good choice here.
Yeah.
I saw hover over Kha'Zix there.
Go on, Cogmore, do it.
I don't think it's going to be a Cogmore. If that's a Cogmore, I'll be incredibly surprised.
If that's a Cogmore against Vi, then you may as well just rage quit, because he's going to get assault and battery like every time and just die.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that off the top of my head in that split second, but no, it's that would have been a pretty bad choice.
It's not completely out of question just yet.
No, I know. I really hope they don't lock Cogmore in, because you can't really protect a Cogmore with Vi on the other team. But yeah, I think Vi is just so strong right now that Lee Sin and Vi on Ku is probably the same kind of strength.
Right. Gotcha. Well, it's not going to be Cogmore. What a huge surprise that is.
For that.
It is going to be Leona Sivir. It's interesting, though. There was a while back in Season 2 or maybe the start of Season 3 where Cogmore was played AP for a little while in mid. I think actually Froggen played him AP mid.
I think he did.
In an LCS game. That's a long time ago, though.
Yeah. Or anybody that ever plays an ARAM. Ooh, yeah, okay. Kassadin is available for this.
Right.
Exile does have Kassadin as one of his champions that he plays. Kassadin against Orianna for the very early game is kind of difficult for Kassadin, but Kassadin you never pick for the early game. You don't pick him saying, oh, I'm going to just win the early game in my laning phase. No, you pick him to survive the early game, get to the mid game, and then be incredibly effective. He's a champion that you can put him behind. As long as it's not again and again that he gets killed, you can pick up 2 kills in a team fight and pretty much win the game. As soon as you've got that core.
I thought they were going to go for Draven there, which would have been good against Sivir, but not so good against Leona, because he is one of those immobile AD carries. Yes, he has the Blood Rush, which is a movement steroid, but it's not going to get you out of the Zenith Blade, Shield of Daybreak, and then Solar Flare combination.
Yeah.
So I think overall Lucian is a smarter pickup there. Plus, Vanillion's been playing it for a while now. I think he's played it 3 or 4 times in the tournament.
Yeah, I think so.
And we also saw the pentakill. Well, not by him, it was burned from Hjarnan, I think,
Yeah.
Cloud9. So Lucian is a solid pick.
They hovered over... Oh, they're going to lock in Renekton. I think that's a given. They hovered over Kha'Zix there and Nocturne. Nocturne I wouldn't expect to see here. Kha'Zix would be a decent pick. He has high early game damage against Vi. That is pretty useful, pretty significant. Also, the reset as you get into team fights is pretty good. I don't think that's going to be a Maokai. We've moved off support junglers for quite a while recently, so you're not seeing Cho'Gath, you're not seeing Maokai anymore in the jungle. just because they don't really have their place. Good. Okay, Kha'Zix gets locked in. They'll do fairly well against Vi. Still, mid-game is a little bit back and forth, and the look on your face is because you don't want to see another Renekton. We've had Renekton for multiple seasons, buddy, and it's been the same in every game.
And that's why I don't want to see him anymore.
Get used to it.
Oh, man. Prombet's a good Renekton player, to be fair. So I can understand if it's a comfortable champion, it's a comfort pick, then go for it. But it's going to be Shyvana more than likely, which Mozilla played last game as well.
Yeah, it's more than likely going to be a Shyvana. There are a couple of others you can pick, but Shyvana probably has the best time against Renekton. Yeah. No need to really disrupt the status quo, because it's not like Renekton particularly has that many bad matchups either. Mm-hmm. He's just so consistent that, yeah, it's just the case. It looks like we've gone back into the lobby. Some little bug that we've had there, but we'll be back in just a second into the champion picks and bans. So it did get locked in there at the end as well. So it looks like it's just a runes problem or something like that.
Yeah, Steve lagged apparently.
Not sure who Steve is.
Me neither. Let's have a look at the lineup.
Because Steve is on Steve's Bakes Cookies.
Mountain. No, Mountain's on the other team. What am I talking about?
Yeah, he's there. 6. Okay. Who knows? Because Steve bakes cookies, if you didn't know.
Apparently he does.
Steve.
And apparently Yarrow is supportive in his efforts as his support. See what I did there?
Yeah, I saw what you did there. I'm still stuck on cookies. Cookies would be really nice.
Cookies, but to be fair, cookies are awesome, but Italian food, I think, is
very
actually
true,
better.
because we are here in Italy, so I'm really enjoying the food.
It's awesome. When we get a chance to have a break and we have like cheese and ham sandwiches, which normally I don't particularly like, but here they're just so good.
You make it sound so British with cheese and ham sandwiches.
That's what they are. What would you call them?
Oh, that's what I'd say, but it doesn't sound very Italian. Like you could say like mozzarella and.
I don't know what the Italian word for ham is.
You could just pick an Italian.
It would be
ham.
panini, wouldn't it?
No, that's bread.
Yeah, but like a cheese and ham panini, cheese and ham bread.
You just said I don't know what the word for ham is in Italian, and then said panini.
No, I meant like it would be a cheese and whatever the Italian word is, panini.
Okay.
Do you see?
You're worse than Pulse. Last time when we had Pulse here, he was just like pointing at stuff on the menu. At least he didn't like invent like panini means ham, right?
No, I have no idea what the Italian word for panini is. The reason why we're derping so hard is because we're waiting for this game to start. Because obviously we did have.
Don't pin me on this. This is 4-1 on derping.
It is okay. Here we go. 4-1 right now. We'll keep a tally. I think I'm probably going to win though, or
probably.
lose. Wait, is it actually winning if you have more?
I think in this game there are no losers.
True. That is very true.
But there will be a loser in this game, unfortunately, which means we'll also have a winner, which means we'll have going somebody to the grand finals. That's how winning and losing works in a 2-team game.
That analysis, though.
Hey, look, one team's going to the grand finals to meet Gamers 2. Currently, SK Gaming Prime are 1 game up.
They are. So all they have to do is win this game, and they are through to face off against Gamers 2. AAA and CLG, so Against All Authority and Counter Logic Gaming.
I didn't even notice that. Now people are going to be very confused because it's not on the screen. But that's the bands. Like I was going to say, are we really casting AAA and CLG? Are we at some kind of invitational European Season 3 tournament?
Dumb question. I could be going to 5 right now, so I'm just preparing you. Does Against All Authority still exist?
Oh God, you're asking me that.
Because I remember casting them a lot, probably a year or 2 ago. But I've not seen them for a while.
You put me on the spot with that. I don't think they do. I'm trying to remember who was on AAA as well. Yeah, see? No, I'm going to put you on the spot.
I know they're French. But that's all I know.
That's good analysis.
I know that one...
What's the French word for him?
Oh, Lin something. What was his name?
Linac,
yeah. The guy who got banned for bad manners. Toxic guy.
Wow.
That's the only guy I remember. Sorry. What were you going to say?
I was saying, if they're French, what's the French word for ham? I actually know this. I think I know this.
I should know this.
I think it's jambon.
Jambon, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I only lived in France, and I still didn't remember.
My Italian's terrible, but I have barely enough French to survive. I can ask for ham, so good source of
That's
protein.
super useful if you're ever in a life or death situation. Jambon.
Yeah. Somebody will be like, take pity on this guy, all he wants is ham.
He's a bit special.
You know what else is special? the fact that I get to spend the weekend with you here in Italy. Of course, you're at the FACEIT Challenger Invitational here in Milan. Thank you very much to FACEIT and Overwolf for bringing us over here. It wouldn't be possible without those guys. And FACEIT, of course, web platform for playing competitive games at your own skill level. So if you're bronze, you play against bronze. If you're silver, you play against silver. If you think you should be silver and you're bronze, you still play against bronze.
Sorry, it took me a while to understand what you meant there.
But you can win some pretty cool you can win some pretty cool prizes while doing it as well.
Yeah, and also you can play 1v1, 3v3 or 5v5 format, League of Legends, Counter-Strike Go, and Quake. So there's plenty of different avenues for you to go down.
Yeah, so if you feel confident in that it's the team that are letting you down, you play 1v1.
With that kind of attitude, you'll never get out of Silver Elite. Sorry.
Wow.
I couldn't help myself. 20 seconds left on the delay. It's going to be a slow 20 seconds, isn't it?
It is. I'm just going to be silent and just let that time out.
Good guy.
But we are heading into the game. So yeah, sign up for the FACEIT platform. It's now available on Nordic and East, as well as Europe West. There's some awesome things to win on there. So make sure you do. And I think later on, we'll be having another promo code during our finals as well. So we'll be giving premium to more people as well. So
yes. And please do spread the word about this awesome tournament and, of course, the stream as well, so we can get as many people as possible onto this awesome platform on FACEIT.com. In the meanwhile, we are on that scary
screen. The one that hasn't quite loaded.
The blank screen with the spinning wheel. There we go.
It's cool. That spinning orb haunts me, by the way. The number of times it just goes over to cannot find game, spectator server will now exit, or whatever it says. Luckily, that's not the case.
We have not had that one time, actually, either, so we have been lucky. I just jinxed it, didn't I?
Vince is the worst. He tweets things like, this day can't get any worse, and then ends up in a car crash.
Dude, the production said yesterday, we haven't had a pause yet. Next 2 games pauses.
We haven't had the tournament go completely smoothly with nothing at all going wrong yet. Hopefully I have the same kind of jinxing so that will now happen and not end in a car crash.
I don't know. You've got me next to you. I've been accident prone these last few days.
I know. I'm worried.
Lost my luggage, was in the car crash, and a package that I paid for to be delivered within 3 days didn't come in a week.
It's all. Oh, there's the pause.
That's the reason I didn't actually say on Summoner's Rift, because I noticed one of the players did not connect. Didn't load in. So we are going to be waiting a bit longer, as you can see up there. I'm not pointing to stress. I'm trying to point behind me on the monitor. That's a better way of doing that. I should have probably just, yeah. You can see that we're paused.
We are. Luckily, we'll all get to know when we're going into game at the same time, because I do love this screen. Sometimes, actually, you guys won't know because the camera's not on us, but sometimes I actually just kind of turn around and cast looking at that screen.
He does.
He keeps looking at me really weirdly, but...
I keep thinking you're eyeing me up while I'm casting. I'm like, okay, bro.
Wow.
There's a time and a place, and it's not while casting.
No, definitely not.
But now I know you're just looking at the screen, so I feel a bit more comfortable.
Buddy. It's okay.
Gutted.
It's okay. Don't worry. I'm sorry.
Well, as soon as we have any information on what's going on and what the problems are, we'll be sure to fill you guys in. But right now, we're kind of just stuck here filling in time.
Yeah, I've heard 5v4 is not a good way to play the game.
Yeah, me too.
Unfortunately, NIP also heard that yesterday and didn't quite make it to the tournament, which is a little bit sad, a little disappointing. Would have been good to see how things changed from that, since, you never know who would have got through.
I guess it's relative. It's sad and disappointing for us, but for TFS, it was probably the best news I heard all day. Like,
probably.
We get a buy into the semi-finals. Awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, didn't help them.
No.
Sometimes I actually find getting buys in tournaments for teams works against them.
Yeah, because you haven't been tested. You haven't been tried or tested in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Cloud9 in the World Finals. Cloud9 are, unarguably a great team, and we are heading into the game, as you can see the countdown is going. But sometimes when you're just not quite used to that tournament structure, it may not work out in your favor. Nevertheless, we're in game here for game number 2 of semi-final number 2. It's SK Gaming Prime on the purple side and Faculty on the blue side. Let's see whether Faculty can even this series up.
Yep, they're going to have to. They're going to have to go big or go home. It is that simple. SK Gaming Prime with Ku have played phenomenally well in that game number 1. I wouldn't be too surprised to see Ku just pretty much flattening top lane as he did last time. He was the objective king.
I'm a little worried for Faculty. And I sound like Twitch chat here, but when you let Cassid in through, you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
You have to be able to deal with it. And it's even more surprising that a purple side team has been allowed Kassadin, especially when they picked Orianna as their first pick.
Yeah, they put a lot of eggs in that basket. And I said before that Sigu didn't play bad, but he didn't wow me either in that first game. He missed a handful of shockwaves that maybe probably wouldn't have changed anything anyway. But still, the fact that that big ultimate has been missed is pretty significant in fights.
And the thing about it is, I don't feel like Kassadin was adjusted to a point where he's not still Kassadin.
Yeah.
Which sounds really stupid. But anybody that's watched a game that Kassadin has been in, is that he's incredibly strong. He has so much mobility, a lot of damage, and really is just so good at getting in the backline and just tearing the backline apart. I don't think that's been affected that much.
I have to feel that a big factor in this game is going to be obvious on Kha'Zix.
Yeah.
If he can snowball or if he gets plenty of kills from the jungle, then characters like Kassadin have to be super careful because Kha'Zix has the ability to just come in and flatten you.
Yeah.
And then get away again with the leap resets. I assume that he would be evolving leap. I mean, there's no reason he wouldn't.
Yeah, typically a leap is the first one out of the jungle that you would evolve.
Yeah.
And I think especially in that middle lane is where I would hope Obvious is going to focus. Before Kassadin is level 6, you can see he will take quite a bit of harass from Orianna. Also doesn't have the escape from Riftwalk. So Kassadin is kind of vulnerable in the early game.
Oh, very much the case. So typically, a jungler will try and just bully Exile or Kassadin, as the case may be, out of that laning phase and try and get their mid laner ahead large enough that if Kassadin goes roaming, that he loses his tower. So it's very possible that you will see a lot of camping from Obvious in mid. But again, as Kha'Zix, you need kills, and just pressuring Kassadin won't be enough.
Yeah, it's one of the things. Is Kha'Zix recently has been coming back into it because the change to the passives on the spirit items gave him a little bit more gold. So he's slightly less reliant on kills, but very much so. Starts off very well early, but without kills and without itemization and assists, he does start to fall off.
Yep, that is true. And that's, again, top lane pretty much, well, it is an identical lane to last time around with both players playing the same champions, but Ku hasn't been up top yet. He is playing Vi, so maybe he's going to be waiting for that level 6 before he starts making big plays.
Vi has somewhat limited gank potential before. Jat talks about this as well, the fact that you have Vault Breaker. It's pretty good at getting into lane, but really you have to kind of expend a lot to do it. Sometimes you have to like flash with it, and that's using a lot to get a kill.
Yeah.
It's not as potent as level 6, as you said. Assault and Battery becomes available. At that point, Vi is so much better at ganking.
Whereas Lee Sin from pretty much level 2
Yeah.
is amazingly strong from the jungle. So that is going to be one of the reasons why Kassadin just flashing up red there in the mid lane. I'm not too sure what happened there. I assume it's just
it looks
a
like
ball.
he just took some harass.
Yep, Vi coming around from the side. So if Orianna stays in this position, could find herself in a really horrible situation, but you can already see just backing away. Or not.
He did for a second and is overstayed. He's going to get the kill.
He is going to get that first blood, but at the cost of his own life. The assist gold comes in onto Orianna. Now Mozilla finds himself in a sticky situation underneath that tower. From there, it's going to go down actually from the minions, and Mozilla manages to survive, and Obvious could not jump in to secure the kill.
Mozilla picking up a kill in a 1v2 situation is huge. Also, Obvious being so low now means that he's going to get pressured out. He's had to run all the way back because Ku was hunting around. You can see the wards there. Ku's actually forcing Obvious to recall a little bit later than he would have liked to. And for once, a Vi is going to counter jungle here. It's not something you see all that often, but knowing where the enemy jungler is, you're able to take away their jungle camps.
Knowing that he had to go back to spawn or risk death, it's a pretty safe counter jungle there. And in fact, even going one better for the Wolves as well as the White Wraith. So nice aggressive play. And we were talking before about how in Faculty simply have to win this game. That is a massive body blow at top lane, because Pronbear now has fell quite a long way behind on experience as well.
Yeah, and one of the difficult things about playing Renekton into Shyvana is, and we saw this in the last game, Shyvana does a lot of mixed damage, so it's difficult to itemize one item against her. Against a Renekton, for the most part, you just kind of build armor, and you're fine. Dominus does some magic damage, but it's not anything to write home about, really, when you take into account general laning. And I mean, it's difficult for Renekton to itemize in the early game because you can see Pronbear's already taking a bit of damage there.
I think this is the reason why, you know, we joked about it being a GA, but why he went for Chain Vest Negatron Cloak, because it's best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to worry about the damage of Magic Resist or attack damage coming through, but it's going to be behind on experience, as I said before, which means Mozilla's going to be hitting that Dragon's Descent before Dominus is available, and that could be a moment when he decides to strike.
That is going to be one of those moments that really you just have to wait and see on the timings. There it is.
It has been popped at 6, but because Pronbear is so close to his tower, I couldn't really hope to do anything with it.
Yeah, it really will just be evened up by that Dominus very shortly. But Exile's nearly at the point where he's level 6. Sigu is already there. Ku not quite there either, but both were awaiting that level 6. They're going to move into the middle lane.
They are going in middle. Bot lane, not a great deal's happened. Lucian does have an 8 CS advantage over Sivir, but it's not a huge amount right now in the game. Mid lane, I'm quite surprised that neither jungler has tried their hand at a lot of ganks other than in that mid.
We saw the attempt out of Ku actually picking up that kill in the middle lane, but again, that was more of just tidying up around. And I think it's one of those things that Orianna is pretty slippery at times. If needs, it has the shield and dissonance, so can get it herself away pretty handily. And Kassadin's been so shoved under his tower that he hasn't really been gankable.
Yeah. And plus the fact as well that Kassadin doesn't offer anything really to a gank.
Yeah.
Like, he can force pulse and slow you, but that's it. And it's not guaranteed CC. It's quite short range.
Yeah, again, as you said, he's not exactly the easiest to gank for either. Has a Tear of the Goddess, though, so that's going to start stacking. Typically, you will get Tear and Catalyst, and from there, that's your core that you really need. And surprisingly, has a fair amount of damage at that point as well.
Yeah. Once Kassadin has stacked that up for the Saros Embrace way down the line, it's going to be a nice chunk of shield as well.
Yeah.
For him jumping in, because of course Kassadin melee champion, AP melee champion, if you don't know much about League of Legends, it can just get in and burst people very quickly.
And if he does go the Rod of Ages route as well, Rod is going to make him pretty tanky because you generate, it stacks up over time and you get extra health.
Yeah.
Catalyst does it and gives you health back per level, but Rod does it over time, pretty much.
So, this is definitely a more slow, stable approach to the game than we saw it seen in the previous matches today. A lot on the line, though, so you can understand why that is the situation. And plus, I think the lanes don't really favour all-out action for the first 10 or so minutes. Kha'Zix is going to need to build up ahead of steam. Kassadin is as well. So it's probably going to be pretty slow for the next couple of minutes. I wouldn't be too surprised if Dragon is where it really kicks off.
Exile is hit level 7, so we may see him start to roam, but I think it's just all about defending that. If they can get the wards out, make sure that they're not under a lot of pressure to be ganked. It's just kind of a momentum halt on Kassadin. Kassadin looks like he just picked up his blue buff, so that will go a little bit of the way to allowing him to roam. Yep,
probably just trying to get some last hits underneath that tower. Mozilla is constantly pushing him back with the burnout. Now, just to throw over a question to you, Shyvana at top lane, what would you be maxing first?
Yeah, it depends on exactly what he wants to do. I've heard a couple of people say Burnout. I've heard a couple of people say Flame Breath as well. It kind of is a player-dependent choice. It's one of those things is... it's just a case of whichever he chooses, to be honest.
Right, okay.
I unfortunately, our production setup doesn't allow me to actually see, which is one of the unfortunate things, but... yeah, it's one of those things.
The reason I ask is because when he is popping Burnout, there was a lot of health being lost by Pronbear, so I'm assuming is Burnout.
Well, yeah, that's where a lot of the mixed damage comes from.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of different things depending on whether you're expecting a 1v1 or a 1v2. Oh, there's a... I thought that was going to be more damage, actually, out of Kassadin.
It was kind of one of those whimper moves in there. Mozilla is now starting to dirty farm behind the tower.
It's Burnout.
Burnout, yeah. It does a lot of damage.
I thought so, but I second-guessed myself there for a second. I was like, I can't check.
That is one main difference between studio and online work, is like, if I forget, which doesn't happen as often as it used to. In fact, all that thought, because Obvious has been caught out from Ku here, who in turn is actually really in a bad position because Sigu is coming around from the side, but that is going to be the first kill going in on from Ku. Second kill, I should say. Got the first one in mid lane to clean up, but now Exile comes in and just backs on the way.
as we saw. Aggression down in the bottom lane as well. And these teams, it's a very similar game to the last one. SK Prime have themselves an advantage. It's a slight advantage to begin with. And they're just going to look to snowball that with a dragon.
Yeah. It's always a good idea if you pick up the kill onto the opposition jungler to just go straight for the dragon if it's up, because it's by and large going to be yours. And what I was saying before that action kicked off is when you cast online, you can just like hover around and check things out if you're not too sure. It's like pretty easy to do.
Well, this is just yeah, that is true.
Because sometimes I forget like what an ability is called, and I'll just quickly have a hover and check. But when you're in the studio, you're just like, yeah,
I never do that.
Well, you're a color cast. You're not supposed to. It's kind of your job.
I know, right?
Yep. Cool. So.
Ooh, Medjay Soul Stealer on a 0-1 Kassadin.
That's ballsy. Lucian has just ate quite a bit of damage now, turning it back onto Mountain though. Nobody is going to be falling as of yet. But Medjay Soul Stealer on Kassadin, that is a really ballsy pickup, because it's not even like he's fed right now.
That says a lot about the next 5 to 10 minutes of this game. Again, that's a declaration of intent. He's not going the tank route. He's going the, I'm going to pick up kills in the next 10 minutes of the game, and I'm going to get pretty large from it.
It's a very, very confident risk, though. If you screw that up, it's not going to go too well. Here comes Kha'Zix from the side. Cedric picks up the kill with the Solar Flare landing right on the head of 6.
The thing is, he's also behind in CS, which is to be expected against an Orianna, but he's not pressuring out Orianna either. There's an engage in the top. Here comes Ku.
Ku with the Assault and Battery. Prombear is not long for this world. Uses the Dominus slicing, dicing as well. Flashing from Mozilla, and actually the flash from Prombear as well. Kassadin's coming around from the side. A bit too late, however. I honestly felt like Prombear would have died there, but well played.
Yeah, that was certainly a close to death experience by Prombear, but he did survive through that one. And kind of that roam again, there's a big wave pushed into the middle lane, and they've roamed with Kassadin. He's going to lose experience in that. They need to start actually getting experience in farm. They're stealing away blue buff, and I think Orianna's going to come across. Sigu, they're not going to go aggressive onto him. Okay, so I think they need to ramp up the aggression, though, if they're going Medjay on Kassadin right now.
Pretty big, though. Quite significant that Exile picks up the blue buff from Orianna, so Sigu's not going to be able to spam the dissonance or anything like that. Here we go. Exile is going to get shockwaved after Rift Walking. Strange animation, but Sigu goes down, and now Obvious comes round to put himself on a horrific position. Double kill for Kassadin. The Medjay Soul Stealer really coming into fruition.
Okay, yeah, now that they've got a double kill, Kassadin with that Medjay Soul Stealer is going to be okay. Got the extra AP on that. They're also going to give him the extra gold for itemization. So, yeah, it's that's what they needed. I was a little bit worried that maybe Exile wasn't going to get the ball rolling on that Medjay's, and it would have been a wasted buy. But that's what they needed.
What's the cost efficiency of a Medjay's? Because I think I've heard somewhere that once you get 8 stacks, it kind of pays for itself.
It's about that, yeah. It's around 8 stacks, but then you've got to hold them.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't know, it's the same as what Bloodthirsty used to be like. If you die, or Sword of the Occult, which is the AD version of the Medjay Soul Stealer. I think the Leviathan used to exist as well, where it was HP.
Leviathan, yeah.
Oldie but goldie.
Old item.
But if you do lose your life with Medjay Soul Stealer, you lose a third of your stacks. So that's why Stress said, if you keep them.
Oldie but heart of goldie.
Oh, I love the Heart of Gold.
Tear of the Goddess fully stacked. Not in this game. I just mean Heart of Gold.
I actually looked at that.
I was going to say that's a really quick tier to be fully stacked.
14.5 minutes, you beast. Yeah, but Heart of Gold, man. I in a way though, I'm quite happy it left because just everyone built it. Like every jungler would build Heart of Gold.
Philosopher's Stone doesn't exist anymore.
That's true.
No double GP5 anymore. Can't actually do that either.
Philosopher's Stone used to build into Shirley's Reverie, right?
Yeah. Wow. Good knowledge. Yeah. Knowledge bombs.
And now it's a Talisman of Ascension. This guy. Mozilla just used his ultimate alongside Prombear. So again, it's just like 2 rocks hitting against each other. There's not a great deal of chance for kills unless one of the junglers happens to be there as well.
Needlessly large rod onto Kassadin now. Going for that flat damage.
Ow.
Yeah, that's going to help him stack up the Medjays, which will help him get more damage, which will help him stack up the Medjays. So it's a nice cyclical effect.
Yeah, vicious circle. But he is quite a glass cannon right now. Doesn't have any health, doesn't have any resistances. So if he is caught out of position, then he will die.
And that's a little worrying against a Kha'Zix. Now, Kha'Zix is 0-2 and maybe about to go to 0-3.
Well, Prombear does not have his ultimate, but here comes Obvious. He's going to be looking to kill Mozilla next. Mozilla's doing a lot of damage, however, but here comes a slice and dice. Beautiful mechanical play, and Obvious takes down the kill.
That was a little bit aggressive there up in the top lane. Ku's pretty, flimsy right now.
Lucian has been caught at bot lane, burned the flash to dodge the solar flat, and will find himself dead. And that was a pretty important kill, I would have to say, for Orianna.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, SK kind of just lost a lot of people across the map there. They lost 2 in the top, 1 in the bottom, and haven't really been doing much with the other 2 members. Exile's going to roam down now, look for a pickoff here, see how much damage he's got.
Well, none if he gets stunned, although he does fire out the Null Sphere on Mountain, who's, Leona. She's tanky, so it didn't really do anything.
Yeah, SK Gaming Prime just looking a little uncharacteristic in the last couple of minutes. Dropped a couple of kills. They've let this game get evened up on kills. They're still, 2,000 gold ahead, mostly in those 2 turrets that they have.
Yep, Dragon's up in 3 seconds. And it looks by the map that neither team's going to be going for it just yet. Both junglers on the top side of the map, just farming wolves and wraiths, respectively. In fact, to tell a lie, that was Shyvana and Vi on the same team. It would be quite impressive if they're both jungling. We did see that yesterday in the viewer game, though. 2 junglers.
We've also seen that quite a bit in Hexakill, but
not my favourite game mode, I'll be honest.
A lot of people really liked it.
Don't know how.
Although I saw a tweet saying Hexakill is nearly over. But here comes potentially a Pentakill. Who knows?
Wow, that's optimistic, but the Dragon is about 50% through. Here comes a Shockwave and also the Solar Flare. Who's trying his best to get away from this one, but Shyvana falls down first. 2 for 0 trade so far in favor of Faculty. Make that 3-0. They're going to pick up the Dragon as well, unless Exile has something to say about it. He steals the Dragon and gets a kill as well. Lucian comes in to finish off Sivir, and now they're trying to turn this one back around. Can Savanian go huge? He could very well pick up the kill in the Obvious. And what looked like a clinical team fight from Faculty turned sour when Kassadin came through.
So let's take a look at exactly the effects of that fight. 5 members of SK Gaming Prime died. 3 members of Faculty. They got the shutdown on Kassadin, shut down his gold stack, his Magi stacks as well, and picked up the Dragon. No, SK picked up the Dragon. It's difficult to tell whether that's even or not, but we are going to take a look at the fight again.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a little bit more clarity from this. You can see that SK are fully on the Dragon. It's down to about 1/3 of the health, but a big, I was going to say a big soul flare, but it didn't actually land as well as they would have liked it. There's just a lot of damage in the middle of this team fight as Kha'Zix is really starting to hurt in this fight. I'm not sure whether this is worth losing the stacks and the shutdown gold. It's the economy of the stacks is the one that I'm wondering, because the shutdown gold for the killing spree kind of separates that dragon gold, but from there it's how much is each stack of a Magi Soul Stealer worth.
Yeah, well, up until that point though, that was looking horrific for SK.
Yes, it was.
It was looking absolutely horrific. I think it was a 3 for 0 trade. It looked like the Dragon was going to get picked up as well from Faculty. So I think Exile had that split decision judgment call to make, and he was like, screw it, I'm going all in.
I kind of agree with it. I
think it was the right call.
Especially if he was not Magi's Kassadin, it was 100% the right call.
Yeah.
There was no doubt in my mind, and I still think it's the right call, but they're going to pick up a kill on Siju.
Yeah, they are. Shut down as well for Vi. I think they preferred Exile to take that one down, but it's still fine on Vi. She's a bit tanky, does a bit more damage. That's never a bad thing. Exile riff walking over the wall, and they could look to push this tower right now. Prombear taking quite a bit of damage. Mountain and Obvious have joined the ranks, though, so they're not going to be able to pick up the towers just yet.
This game's a bit of a turnaround for Orianna.
Yep.
We saw in the previous game Siju not doing the best on Orianna.
I think that's fair to
This
say.
time set up 4 and 3, with 3 assists. Has been doing better.
Definitely. Well, you can see now that the wave clear right now is actually pretty decent with Sivir. Just known for clearing waves fast, especially with a Bloodthirster. They're just able to ricochet, boomerang blade, and the wave's gone.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And I mean, once she gets the static shiv as well, it's going to be even faster.
Yeah.
Because that ricochet is also going to get that lightning proc.
But we're looking at our items here. I was looking at Lucian's. GG Vince. That's number 6. So derp number 6.
Civ is about to build a...
I was gonna say, is she building a Sheen for a Triforce? It wouldn't be a completely terrible pickup, but yeah,
Wouldn't
it
be
was
that
Lucian that I was looking at. So it has a Zeal, and that could very well go into Static Shift next. I'd expect to see that be the case.
Let's take a look at some of the other items on the board right now. Nearly a Sunfire Cape as well as that Spirit Visage for Renekton. Over on the side of Shyvana has that Blade of the Ruin King, and let's see what Ku's about to go and pick up. I think it'll be, yeah, I was going to say, likely to be towards the Triforce. Building a Phage.
Yeah, Phage and also the Dagger.
Which is a little bit different from some Vies. Some Vies will go for the tanky route, so you go Ancient Golem, Randuins, that kind of route of things. This is far more damage focus.
See, at times like this, you're wishing you cast him with Pulse, because he mains Vi.
Yeah.
He could write guides, he could write novels on Vi. I think he actually loves her.
I think he may do.
He said that to me. If she was real, she'd be my wife. It was quite an awkward conversation.
It is quite awkward.
It was quite awkward that I just brought that up as well.
It is.
But regardless, he knows a lot about Vi, and I think he seems to agree with the idea of building 2 damage items and then a tanky one.
Okay.
So that you don't just instantly die as soon as you go in.
Interesting. We'll have to discuss Vi further with Pulse, who is a fellow co-caster of ours.
Who I think he's probably watching right now. In which case, I apologize.
Not anymore now that you started talking about
he
Vi,
turned it
but SK Gaming Prime are now looking to take down the Baron, but you can see Mozilla is actually taking a fair amount of damage from that. Here's the close-in from End Faculty is obvious, taking a lot of damage from Exile.
Yes, he is, and leapt, number 7, leapt across the wall there to safety. But Baron has not been picked up, so they actually stopped going for that one. Obvious is very low, though, so need to be careful they don't stay around for a bit too long.
Mozilla backed off as well there. SK Gaming Prime were looking for a fight as they were popping the Talisman of Ascension and heading forward. They actually were 4v5. I know Obvious had to go back, but it's still a little bit tricky. SK have got to be careful because yesterday we saw them overextend a couple of times. In a few games, they were a little bit overconfident, were in positions that really they shouldn't have been in, and ended up giving a game away.
That's what I was talking about previously. The game they played against Tick, Trick, and Duck, I think it was, when they were way ahead. It's the game where Perry was playing Evelyn, and they gave away 2 or 3 really pointless kills, unforced errors, as we could say, and then suddenly went 17-3 or 15-3 or something as Jinx and carried super hard. So they actually lost because of those mistakes they made. So I think they've probably learned from their mistakes.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Ku has gone in though on Siggy, who is going to be the first player to get popped there. Solo Flare comes on through. Here's Mozilla from the back, and also Lucian on top of that as well. Cullen comes out, but not really tagging up too many players. Obvious jumping over. Flash out from Lucian, and the barrier as well. Double kill from Mozilla. There's so much focus going on to Kassadin and Lucian. They've completely ignored the Dragon, and now Dragon is going to be coming on back. Ku takes a lot of damage. Sedrian's really positioned himself very well in this fight not to go down, but that was a 3-for-1 with only the support dying from SK.
It was really close to them picking up Exile as well. He, in the split second, activated that Seraph's Embrace, which he's only just picked up, and managed to survive that team fight. And really nice flash over the back wall by his Vanillin as well. That was this really nice balancing of defensive abilities by SK Prime.
Yeah, kind of juggling the damage as well. Lucian flashed through the wall, Rift Walk from Kassadin, both were super low, and that's what I was talking about previously. The Seraph's Embrace with the shield saved his life.
He's actually bought Home Guard boots as well, so wanting to be out on the Rift as fast as possible, as often as possible. So interesting pickup. Close to having his Rabadon's Death Cap as well.
Yep.
So that's going to make him pretty powerful. I mean, you take into account a fully stacked Seraphs, of course fully stacked, since you need it to be fully stacked to transform. But also a Rabadon soon. Oh, great, okay. Adding one to my tally.
It's all good.
Trinity Force.
But what you're saying is completely right, though, that once he does have the Rabadon's Death Cap, I mean, right now he's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But Rabadon's Death Cap is going to excel it to the next level. And if he decides to go all in on Sivir and her spell shield's down, could really one-shot her.
Yeah.
Kha'Zix as well. Kha'Zix is not a tanky champion. Like he's built a Hex Drinker, which is going to give him a bit of resistance against Kassadin, but still doesn't have a great deal of health.
Also, if you can silence Kha'Zix, that's going to prevent Kha'Zix from doing a lot of his damage.
Yeah.
You really need that Taste Their Fear and Vorpal Spikes to actually deal a lot of damage.
I know you nearly said Vorpal Blade there.
And Void Spikes.
Because we had
both
Shed.
of them. Like
Yeah. Void Spikes is Cho'Gath, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's It's one of those. This is what I'm talking about. And now we've got like Void Rift on Vel'Kar's. I'm like, please.
Right, it's just trying to screw us casters over.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I'm not quite quick shot. I can't remember every single
Yeah.
ability name, which is impressive. By the
That
way.
guy's crazy with his names. He must have a good memory. Really good memory. Either way, the Lucian is just batting on this bottom tower. And this game has definitely, I think, been the slowest of today for us.
A little bit,
in
yeah.
terms of how much action's happened. Which is quite surprising to me when you consider you've got two heavy assassination champions on Kassadin and Kha'Zix.
Yeah, it just hasn't really been the roam-heavy game that we normally would expect, and I guess it's a bit of a surprise, actually.
Yeah, very much the case.
The thing that does favor is SK, because Kassadin's going to have even better strength in the later game. That's one of the reasons why Kassadin is strong, is because the later and later into the game, the easier it is for him really to assassinate people. There's the Rabadon's death cap completed. Even picks up a pink ward for his team as well.
So would you say, therefore, with about a 7,000 gold advantage, 5-1 on towers, and the fact it's a Kassadin against the Kha'Zix, that SK Gaming are in complete control of this game?
I wouldn't say complete control, mainly because they're not the ones completely setting the pace right now. It's kind of an even game, actually. They do have the lead, obviously. I mean, like, tempo-wise, it's fairly even.
Yeah.
They have the gold lead. They do have somewhat control. It's just a case of... and Faculty have had a couple of fights that have gone their way, and it looks like we're in a period where neither team feel confident enough to do Baron, so they're waiting for Dragon.
Right, okay. Well, Dragon's going to be a few more minutes right now in this game. Baron, of course, has not died and is still available for both teams if they so choose. This is going to be the second tower now destroyed for In Faculty. And just going back onto what you were saying before about tempo, I'm keeping an eye on the map here, but what's the game plan for In Faculty at this stage?
They need to take more towers. They would have liked to have had that one down earlier, but here's the engage.
Well, Pronbear is going to fall straight away, completely isolated from the rest of his team. And that is going to be a pretty big body blow, because you look at their team now, Stress, they don't really have another tank.
Yeah, they don't, and this is a good time to look towards Baron. With that one-man advantage for the next 25 seconds, they've got good Baron damage. They should be able to take this down pretty quickly. And a 4v5, while Kha'Zix, if he gets resets, would be good for him. It'd be a difficult ask here.
Solar Flare goes in, obvious.
Oh!
Does get the Baron steal out of nowhere. Oh my goodness, and now Ku is actually going to be Desperation engaging off the back of it. Siggy's picked up a double kill, gets his triple. He's looking for the Quadra right now, forcing out flashes and relentless pursuits right now from the side of SK Gaming Prime. Lucian's going to turn that one back round and shut down Orianna. How good is your mechanics right now, Lucian? Can you pick up the kill on Kha'Zix? Yes, he would have if they'd kept going at it, and it will force Obvious back. Now, Cedron's going to come down and try and pick up the pieces, but still, that was such a beautiful Baron steal.
Kha'Zix is landing the smite. I didn't quite see exactly what happened there, whether Ku smite early or whether Kha'Zix just nailed the timing on that one, but that is a Baron steal that really shouldn't have happened. 4v5 is not an easy steal to ask.
And if you look there, we have a replay, but...
Yeah, it looks like we're going to take another look at that. The turret does go down in the bottom lane, but I think we're going to take another quick look at that Baron steal here. So we should be able to see. So it's down. It's going pretty quickly down here, and Solar Flare lands. It looks like it was within the Solar Flare that he just wasn't able to land the smite. Couldn't quite see it again on that replay. Need a super slow-mo one on that. 'Cause,
it was so quick.
Yeah, it was just perfect timing out of Obvious on that one.
Well, that was just incredible play, and off that one play, that could have actually just flipped the game on its head.
Oh yeah, for certain. As we said, it was still kind of back and forth on the pacing. Now and Faculty are going to be the ones that are kind of able to set the pace. I expect them to be looking to be a lot more aggressive in this game and look to pressure out quite a lot more.
And that triple kill Orianna also picked up has quickly escalated her towards Rabadon's Death Cap, Athenes and Holy Grail and Void Staff. So again, Mejai Soul Stealer, I can't quite see how many stack sizes. Is it one? It looks like a one to me.
I think so. I can't. Again, my vision is not great.
I think it's a 1. I'm pretty confident it's 1 stack because he's died a couple times now in the last few minutes. So again, Measure Soul Stealer is not really paying off.
No, I don't think it's paid off well at all. Ku's coming in from the side here, maybe to kick this engagement off.
On the Hunt has been used from Cedron, so they want to get into position quickly. That was an amazing solar flare, and that is going to turn itself into Lucian dying first. Double kill for Sivir. Are we going to see the triple kill coming in? He's primed himself in such a good position. It's very possible that's going to be the case. Vi takes down Orianna. A 2-for-2 trade. I actually thought that was a lot more one-sided in Faculty's favor. Exile gets caught out of position, actually jumping in, and trades 1-for-1. Fair enough, he got a kill, but at the expense of his own life, it wasn't really worth it.
Yeah, and he actually got stunned and couldn't use the Seraph's Embrace. That's a fairly large part of that.
Yeah.
He would have survived had he been able to get it off. And Ku's heading down to the bottom lane. We'll go aggressive now onto Pronbear. And this is a Ku with damage, but does he have enough here?
Well, I don't think he has.
Cedric.
Yeah, not enough for the two of them. And he will just break it through the wall.
Yeah, better to be safe on that one. Definitely should not go 1v2.
Especially considering that Cedric is now sat at 5-1.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big Sivir to contest with. And I think she must be sat on a pretty big chunk of change as well.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's a fair amount.
So
to,
probably Infinity Edge next.
Yep, that is what I would expect. Yeah, definitely.
So Infinity Edge coming up for Sivir more than likely, unless he wants to go with a defensive item first. But he's positioned so well, I don't see the reason for that. On the Hunt, used to chase down Mozilla, who's very fast himself. Obvious has just been sped up by Orianna, going to be using his ultimate as well. And now SK are trying to retaliate. The shockwave comes in, unstoppable. Sigu's taking the brunt of the damage, however. Now Obvious jumps back in. He's going to be taken down from Savalian's Lucian, who's now very much hungry for the kill on Cedrion. Cedrion, I thought he could maybe pick up the kill on Lucian. Force the barrier, though.
That was a good set of kills there for SK. They now have enough time and presence to start taking down towers, and I wonder whether they can get an inhibitor tower off this. If they can pick off Mountain, they almost certainly can.
Oh, there's a solar flare landing on 3 players. Now Pronbear out from the bushes is going to be trying his best to pick up this kill onto Annie, but doesn't look too likely when he's being chased down and hammered from Ku and Exile. Double kill coming in from Exile, and this all happened as a result of them chasing Mozilla for half the map.
Yeah, luckily though, for End Faculty, the minion wave died there and they actually picked off Svanillan. So they don't have that big tower pushing potential. They can take the 1 here, but I have a feeling that's going to be it. They're far too low to really do anything against the Kha'Zix here. He's just going to get free resets if they decide to push in. So it actually only resulted in 1 tower going down, even though all 5 members died.
But the other problem is it also resulted in a double kill for Exile. I think he actually got 3 kills in total there, which is going to be, what, 6 stats on his Mejai Soul Stealer, which it still looks like 1 to me, so I have no idea how many he's got in total.
Yeah, I actually can't read that off the screen, unfortunately, but nevertheless, I'm sure he's doing pretty well.
I'm sure it's a number.
He has stacks.
He does have stacks. Probably, I would say 6 or 7. I'm not too sure. But regardless, it's going to be pretty painful to deal with him.
Yeah, there's a couple of different little ways of dealing with him that are in process. You can see there's a Zhonya's Hourglass being built by Orianna. That's one way of dealing with that. And Kassadin has 12 stacks on his Mejai Soul Stealer currently. So, good maths by Vince.
Mathematician.
I told you don't do maths on stream.
Well, wow. I actually... So, when he was dying before, he didn't lose anywhere near as many as I thought.
Well, he's been getting them from assists as well, remember?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, yeah, maybe that's where they came from.
He does have 8 assists.
You get 2 for a kill, 1 for an assist, right? Yeah, okay. It adds up.
It does add up.
I think. Culling has been used though from Lucian. They're going to be engaging heavy on Cedrion. Shockwave comes in, lands on both Ku and Mozilla. Pronbear is absorbing so much damage. Obvious jumps across. I'm not sure if he landed a great deal of damage there. I think Exile was his target. But regardless, that is the bot lane have fallen, Cedrion and Mountain. And there's no Baron, so they can't just back away and pick that one up.
It's
But
up
they
in
are take
10.
blue.
Baron is up in 10.
Oh.
Thanks to the swanky
point.
timers in the left-hand side.
Can't maths, can't read.
It's okay. We said yesterday how important reading is. If anybody caught our cast yesterday, and It's pretty important.
I guess technically I was right because Baron wasn't up when I said
Yeah,
it.
you were right.
But it was coming up. I wonder if Obvious can just go huge here and
Can
steal
he
again.
go 2 for 2?
If he does, I was
Okay.
going to say Ku would probably rage quit. But instead they got the Baron and they're going to be chasing down Pronbet, who should be okay, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they didn't land the slow on that one. He should be okay. 6 maybe looking for the stun.
They say should be okay, and then he just gets dogpiled, and he's probably going to go down here. There's Ku, and there's the culling as well. Oh my god, how did he manage to survive that one? Ku's now right in the very front lines. He's going to fall down, but so will Oriana. So Sigu is in the death chamber for 53 seconds.
You doubted me. He got away fine.
I doubted.
He did. It was actually Sigu that didn't get away fine with that. So they lost one anyway. Luckily, though, Pronbet is doing pretty well. So when he gets back on full health, he's been tanking so much damage. That bottom tower may actually fall. Doesn't look like it. Haven't seen the health on it. But nevertheless, that was a big wave pushed down into the bottom lane. So somebody had to go and deal with that. That's what Mozilla's going to do. No chance of falling. Lots of health left on that one.
So the Infinity Edge has been finished off on Sivir and has a Chain Vest. So I would assume that Chain Vest is going into GA.
Yeah, I would assume so.
If it was a Negatron cloak, then it could be Banshees, GA, or of course Quicksilver Sash. But
yeah,
with it being Chain Vest, unless maybe I've seen some AD carries.
Atmos.
Yes, Atmos. That would be a brilliant item right now for Sivir. Synergizing beautifully with all of our AD. I was going to say the Chain Vest. I've seen some AD carries build Randuin's Omen.
I've seen it.
But it's not too often.
I think it's kind of against compositions where you're against heavy auto attack based compositions. So this game I wouldn't be expecting it.
No,
but you are right.
not.
It has been seen.
I think it's normally against heavy auto attack champions, also melee champions, and AD. And when you have a Kassadin, nope. Also, Shyvana's going to do magic damage. So if you have like a Riven mid or a Riven top Zed mid, then maybe you'd go for one. But it's not applicable in this situation.
In this situation, I'd be surprised if it wasn't a GA.
Yeah, well, that's a long range Zenith Blade. The longest range one I've seen for quite some time with Mozilla. On the Hunt was also used. Bear Hug coming in from 6. They do have the Baron buff, remember, so they need to be careful here. And again, beautiful juggling from SK Gaming Prime. Exile round from the side is going to be Rift walking any second now on Pronbet, who will be falling. Ku round from the side. Cedric needs to position here, otherwise he could find himself dead. In fact, they're going to be jumping on Sigu. Instead, they've targeted him as the strong member, but instead he's actually going to go down. Cedric gets completely obliterated, and Annie picks up the pieces.
That was a big dive out from Ku to set that up and ended up falling. That's a big shockwave.
Shockwave crunches through, but it's nowhere near enough to stop this onslaught. And Sigu will go down for Lucian's double kill. In fact, triple kill now.
Triple kill out means the ace. 30 seconds left on the lowest timer here, so this is going to be an inhibitor at least. Wonder whether SK can get into position to end the game, because even in 20 seconds, they still will have another 15 to 20 seconds of the rest of SK coming up.
That's very true. So
the rest of M Faculty.
Yes, M Faculty. And this is going to be an inhibitor, as you said. I'm just curious as to what they're going to do after this, if they're going to back away or try and push down one of these Nexus towers.
No, I think they're right to try and end here. They've got a decent wave. Shyvana is pretty tanky as well, so it looks like SK Gaming Prime are going to end this game and head to the grand finals to face off against Gamers 2 in the $1,500 grand final game.
Absolutely. First place, $1,000. Second place, $500, because that's maths.
It is maths. It does add up. It all adds up.
It all does.
It all adds up until you subtract.
Or divide.
Or divide.
Or square root.
Or multiply. Any of these mathematical things you can do with numbers.
But that is what we do know for a fact, is that SK Gaming have progressed through to the finals. As you said, there had to be a winner, and they had to be a loser.
They did, and the winner was SK Gaming Prime.
It was.
So, that grand finals, I'm still on the semi-finals mentally. Grand finals will be coming up very shortly, actually. I believe it's scheduled for 10 minutes' time.
Wow.
So, that's nice timing there. It gives you just enough time to go and sign up for FACEIT on FACEIT.com. So make sure you sign up, get yourselves up, because we're going to have a pro in the finals. So get yourself ready for that when it happens. Sign up for FACEIT. Go grab a drink as well. Get yourself some food.
Popcorn.
We'll be back in 10 minutes-ish. With our grand finals, SK Gaming Prime versus Gamers 2 here for the FACEIT Challenger Invitation.